I just move on, dude. Fucking commercials. I'm like,
oh, we're good. Oh, and we are live. What's going on,
Jesus.
everybody? We got the
You're
crew
such a
here. We're getting
jerk.
the show started. Casey's
Really
already
broke this
being a
shit.
dick.
Is it the one
all right.
with the flamethrower or no?
Yes, the one with the flamethrower. Yes.
Found it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, we are a couple minutes behind getting some show planning done. I was running a little bit behind. Had to go get swole at the gym. By the way, I am officially 20 pounds down. If you don't, are you giving me a face, Toonie? I will Will Smith the shit out of that face if you're talking about my physique.
Listen, I'm black. Listen, hold on. I'm real black. All right. So you slap me, bro, and we gonna
You
be
ain't
fucking on the
black.
stream.
You ain't black.
I'm
my-
questioning. I'm questioning how Russo's going to get swole on a cardio machine. That's
Bro,
what I'm
it
trying
was
to
a
figure out.
Stairmaster and I was making noise.
Did you just say a Stairmaster?
No, I
You
wasn't on a
should-
Stairmaster. Today was
Okay,
chest and
okay.
tries day.
Are you gonna do?
What is
cock
tries?
Triceps.
Okay.
push-ups? Are you gonna do cock push-ups, Russo?
Yeah. Well, it's quite easy because the distance from the ground doesn't have to be very far. So,
Yo.
Oh, jeez.
that's called self-deprecating humor. Kind of like jokes that apparently you can't even tell at the Oscars anymore. We've got some topics today. We're going to do the slap heard around the world, even though we're sick of talking about it, but we're going to bring up some alternative points, including whether or not we think it's real or not. That's one thing. It's not overly being argued some way. Well, it is, but whatever. CNN is blaming this on Trump. Howard Stern blaming this on the Trump, saying this is something Trump would do. We've got Trump suing Hillary, which I actually don't know much about. I know it's happening, so we'll have to have somebody else man that one. Utah trans bill. Casey's been following that a lot because he's thinking about transitioning. Clarence Thomas's wife is in hot water because
It
of her
says the
tweet.
person doing only cardio. No, that's cool.
I'm not only
Right.
doing cardio. Who said I was not only doing? I will hunt you down. We got the greatest marketing commercial of all time, an answer to Harry's razors, and then Biden's major gaffe, which he has now doubled down on, by the way, and then also took back all at the same time. How are you guys doing? Suni, how are you been?
I'm good. I can't complain. Actually, really good. Just doing my thing on Instagram, collabing with people. Of course, we debated the Will Smith thing till you can't debate anymore. So I'm interested in what you guys are going to say that we haven't already heard. I'm interested. I don't think it's fake. I think people are very much so overthinking it a little too much. But I have a fun video of a slap that I think everyone would enjoy.
We'll get that ready. Get that queued up.
Gotcha.
Mo, what's up?
Mo is doing great. I am having a good day. I'm excited to talk about Will Smith's pursuit of slappiness.
I was wondering when you were going to drop it.
Heyo. Like how I worked that in there?
Smooth.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, but I'm just letting you guys know this is like the last moment I'm going to talk about it
Yeah,
until hold on, there's a caveat to that. They're going to do an interview on the red table, and I'm going to be there to watch it and talk about it.
He's such a bitch, bro. I would be like, lady,
He's
we ain't talking about this shit no more. Sit your ass down.
yeah, he really is a bitch.
Repeal the 19th. Wife. Look, Will, tell your wife to learn her place, man. Red
Yep.
table talk my
Put
ass.
Put that hoe in her place.
Smackdown.
Jelani, are you bored? Do you wanna fill a spot? We can bring you up if you want. I'll go ahead and I'll send you the link. Let me know if you want to come on, Jelani. Casey,
Yeah.
what's going on, brother?
I am just shocked that we care more about the Oscars than we do our country, but that's okay.
It's
That's
one
fine.
topic out of 7, for F's sake.
It
Have you
actually
looked at
ties-
social media and seen what the quantity of this
Valid.
is versus the rest of our country and versus the shit that we're talking about and Joe Biden spending more money and sending it to Ukraine right now?
True.
If
You
you're
bring
gonna
up a
put it
valid
that way.
Valid point. I got nothing to say about it. You win. You absolutely win. What's going on, everybody? It is episode number 93 of Truth Will Set You Free, weekly news and conversation. We call it Truth Tuesday. Do us a huge favor. As I see now, each week we get chopped by numbers more and more, yet more and more people tell us they are going to watch. Hit the share button, hit the like button. One of the biggest ways you can help us is by actually commenting and making sure to share. So, with this, before I tell you guys all the subject matters and subject topics, all the fun things we're going to talk about, everybody in the comment box, because I know everybody is sick of this topic, but we are going to cover it. Do you think the slap was real, or do you think it was fake? Put real or fake in there. Jelani, I see you. I will be sending you a link. Here is the episode number 93. Truth will set you free. Here is the topics. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the slap heard around the world, or Mo.
The pursuit of slappiness.
Boom. We're going to talk about how that relates to Donald Trump because apparently CNN thinks it does. So does Howard Stern. Trump is suing Hillary. The Utah trans bill. Clarence Thomas's wife is getting some flack, and Clarence Thomas is now there's questions about him being impeached potentially because his wife and him not recusing whatever. I think it's because he's black and it's racist. Greatest marketing commercial of all time, in my opinion. Why is it important? Jeremy's razors and Biden's big gaffe, essentially accidentally declaring war. Casey already sent it to Jelani. Excellent. Can somebody else share it out? Casey, you've got access. Share it out from the Be the Change page or from the Truth Will Set You Free page. Guys, before we get started, I am going to we're missing a member of our team tonight. He will hopefully be back next week. But I think it's important that we talk briefly about this. We're not going to get too much into detail, but Kevin did lose somebody very, very close to him. That was a member of our armed services. And I don't know the exact details behind all of it. We've talked briefly with Kevin. He actually wanted to come tonight to take his mind off of it. With that said, this is a day, welcome home day for veterans for the Vietnam War. And it just, in this weird world we live in, you mix in COVID, you mix in the fact that people are families at war, like Sunni. People are returning from war, and you combine that with lockdowns, and you combine that with the hate that you see in this country that has been going on for decades, but has been put on hyperdrive in the last last couple of years. And we realize that life is very important and life is also very brief and fleeting. So please, if you are a service member or if you have friends that are service members, and especially those that maybe are, we have a lot of people that watch from the same end of the political spectrum, but if you know somebody that is a red-blooded conservative veteran that sees something going on in this world that they don't like, he or she, and has friends that give them shit for it, realize that you need to be that voice to help them out and thank them for what they do, and just be there, be friends, be a willing call, be a willing whatever, and just realize that just because we live in a divided country and a really screwed up world right now doesn't mean we have to be ugly to each other, even to the left. When we disagree, we can disagree with intelligence, we can disagree with facts. And that's all I got to say about that. So thank you. Thank you guys. If you want to send positive messages to Kevin, I don't know if he even wants it, but just think about him. And I know a lot of us are Christians out there, so send him some prayers as well. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well said. Well said.
And thank you for your service, Sunni, as a military wife and family. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. With that said, awakenotwokestore.com. You got Sunni's line of stuff. I think Sunni, we've got your Make America Think Again shirt that maybe we'll do a second version, add a signature to it. We've got the signature on the back. Maybe we'll have the Sunni one with the big Sunni on the front, and then we'll have one that's regular. I don't think that's too hard of a switch, so we'll do that as well. I'm going to put something on the bottom. As a lot of you guys know, we're trying to transition people over to the Great American Syndicate, another great military family, a Gold Star wife in Barb Allen, and Dave Brown is there. And we did a show today. They had Chad Prather on for a special interview, and we're going to continue to keep adding things. So if you're a Patreon already, please shift over. If you can, it's $14.99 a month, which is a discount, and it gets you free tickets to the Great American Summit next year. I'll also go ahead and put the My Patriot Supply link in there, and maybe one somewhere midway through the show. I was supposed to do it in the first 2 minutes, totally forgot. But we'll go ahead and we'll add that as a part of this show. But I'll wait for a little bit to talk about that. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk.
Don't forget, we also did a exclusive live for only American Syndicate today with Chad Prather, which was great.
Fun. It was really
a lot of fun. And so you can only get that over there. It's a great interview.
Gotcha. Did you get Jelani the link?
Yeah, I sent it to him.
Okay, I'll
He hasn't viewed it yet.
Oh, got it. All right, I'm gonna send it because you messaged me. All right, let's start a little lighter with the slap heard around the world. All right.
Wait, you want to see the real slap? Because I wasn't
let's
the
see
real slap.
Yeah, go ahead and play this video soon.
Soon he slapped someone.
Look at the real slap. Here we go.
Oh, gee, that's not that one.
Crazy,
good.
Right?
I saw the still frame. I didn't see the actual the thing. That's funny.
Gosh.
That is the slap everybody should be talking about.
No,
Not the BS between two people that are funded by Hollywood and who knows who else.
Free Will Smith. There's no such thing as free Will Smith, in my opinion. But whatever, we'll get into it. Let's talk about it. Jelani should be getting the link right now. Hopefully he'll jump in.
I think we're going to differ on this. This is going to be interesting.
Okay. All right. And hopefully not only is it interesting, hopefully it is the last time we talk about this friggin' topic.
Yeah.
Looks like Casey's about to slap somebody.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out why in the world another topic video is not loading on this screen. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Maybe you have too many screens. Okay. Let's go with what you've talked about it a lot, Suni. I've done little videos by myself, but tell me what your take on the slap heard round the world or the
Pursuit of
Slappiness.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Mo's delayed. Are you all right?
No, I'm like now you're just killing it, Kate. You're just like killing it now.
Okay, so look.
All right, before you get into it, so now you got time to think about it. We'll have Jelani. You ready to introduce yourself to everybody that hasn't already met you?
Hey, you guys. Jelani Givens, Republican PCO out here in Tacoma, Washington's 440. Now I'm running for House Representative out here in the 440 now. So I just announced that yesterday against Lord Jenkins. So I'm very excited about that.
Don't get a DUI.
Yeah, let's not talk about Ian Smith right now. All right. So, Jelani, first topic, slap heard around the world. Soon he's going to give it a start, and we're going to go from there. Everybody, again, please, if you're watching this, share this episode out there. Suni, go for it.
I think it's real. I think there are certain topics that you can't discuss, and you might get slapped. I think the media is definitely using it for ratings, but he walked up there, didn't know what he was going to be doing, and just was like, "I'm just about to slap the shit out of you." Seriously, do I think it's a big deal? I don't. It's a slap. Get over it. Like all the people that are like, "I don't condone violence." Yes, you do. You see what Jelani is wearing down there? You see that 2A? You know what is required in order to use that right? You ready? Violence. So the people that are condemning this, Will Smith, shut up, bro.
The movie was about violence. So I think
thank you. Look, listen. If you say the right word to me on the wrong day, I might slap you too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a big deal. I think it's dumb that people are spending this much time decoding, dissecting. Oh, it's fake because he was leaned this way, his head was that way, his hand was back here. I'm like, bro, come on. Come on.
So
I think it's a waste of time.
I'll go first, and then I'll let you guys discuss. So I won't get into the fact that I think it was staged just yet, because I think there's so many weird things behind it.
Do you think it's a psyop? Do you think it's a psyop?
No. I just think that when a man comes up to another man, your instinct as a male is to at least put your hands by your side. So I guess I'll talk about this first. Your thought process is to put your hands by your side. It's just natural, whatever. To keep your hands behind your back and to lean forward is a way of making sure your hand does not block. That is the only reason that you would tie your hands together when somebody is walking fast towards you. And the fact that there is an image of him gritting his teeth right before Will Smith even lifted an arm is fishy. That's all I'm going to say.
Here's what's wrong. Here's what's wrong with your theory. Okay. You said when a man, whatever, with another man, you have to have two men to put that theory into action. And both of these guys are bitches. So that's what I got to say about that. Like, I personally don't think what I really think, and I'm not going to take up your time. I'm sorry if I'm doing that, but
you're good.
I think that what we witnessed was everything that Will has allowed in his life to transpire with the way his wife treats him as a husband, with the way his wife treats him as a man, with the way that the world has made fun of him with that meme of him crying at the red table, boiled up to that moment that really wasn't that big of a deal. The joke really wasn't that big of a deal. But I guarantee you, okay, because they didn't show Jada too much. I guarantee you when he made that joke, you saw him laugh. Jada obviously didn't like it. She looked at him like every other dysfunctional woman and said, "Are you going to go do something about that?"
Fact, she sunned his ass.
She sunned his ass. And because he's a simp and because his wife has control over him, he got up and made a stupid ass move.
I'll hit somebody for my wife.
So I'm gonna say that I am not convinced either way that it was fake or real. Like I'm saying I would not be betting any money on it either way. I'm just saying I could see it going either way, and that's why I'm mentioning the lean in. And there was a great point, like maybe he was gonna say something lean in. That's a possibility. There's a lot of different things. But to me,
what do you think about this, Russo? All right, this is Black Code 101, bro. His hand started behind his back, but then when that hand came out, Chris Rock was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna hit you or stand back." He flexed up, he tensed up like he was about to hit this dude.
Well,
which
even
is why I think it's real.
Chris Rock has doesn't he have a tour going on right now?
I don't know.
He's about
so.
to.
Yeah,
because his ticket sales.
The biggest sales about to skyrocket. I feel like nobody's gonna lose any money from this.
No,
definitely not.
The biggest question is, did you guys notice who funded most of the commercials during the Oscars?
And this is my interesting part. Go ahead, Casey. Go ahead and say this.
So yeah, Pfizer funded most of the commercials and actually had predominantly very dominant commercials during the Oscars. And they also had a new drug they just released, which treats, I'm not going to say any other
alopecia.
Treats alopecia. And so it's kind of convenient that all of this happened at the same time. My thing is, this is looking at as why is this a concern and why is this something that we're even worried about? Who cares about celebrities? Let them do their thing. They do this for a living in acting, and we need to be focused on other stuff. And when you start looking at the scenarios that are coming into play, this is not necessarily staged, but a lot of things are coming into play. Don't focus on it. Move on. That's what everybody needs to do.
So this is the issue that I want to bring up, not from the real or fake, because I think we've outlined why we feel it could be either way. Sunni's, a lot of you guys are convinced it's not fake, and it could be, honestly, it could be very real. Could be very, very real. Here's my issue, and this is directly towards Sunni's point. This is not okay. It's not, in my opinion. So,
but if it was staged, would it be okay?
I don't see how this is okay to protect somebody's honor on something. First off, if you watch the Oscars regularly, this is the last 2 years. I really don't watch it much. I watched it because I wanted to see how woke it got. The whole purpose of hosts during the Oscars are to roast people in the audience. That is the line. That is the joke. And Joe Rogan even said it. And I was already planning on talking about this, but Joe Rogan just released something a few hours ago and they talked about it. He goes, "This was a mild joke."
It was.
First off, I think the line where it would cross is a woman, and there is a line, a woman that maybe had just had double breast cancer, double mastectomy, and somebody makes a flat-chested joke. That's probably where you're going too far.
My thing is,
go ahead.
Doesn't it? The joke made me feel like it would make sense that she would play that movie, though. I mean, is she
Right.
kind of?
She's both.
She's a good actor, and plus, I could see her playing a movie like that. So
Right,
it's like,
and that it's a mild joke at worst.
Hmm.
And honestly, and then here's the deal with alopecia. People don't know what alopecia is. It very rarely has, and I can tell you that it has I'm sure it has an effect on a person that relies on their looks. However, you have interviews of Jada Pinkett Smith in recent years talking about the fact, I don't care what people say about me. I don't give a shit. Like, this is who I am. This is also a woman, no boo-hoo for me, wearing a $40,000 diamond thing around her head. And also, she's beautiful. Like, it's just a joke. And I mean, for God's sakes, Ricky Gervais was talking about the fact he called everybody pedophiles in the audience. Might have been true. But at the same time, like, this is that the whole point of being a host or a comedian at Oscars is to roast the other actors. You have to be open to some kind of criticism when you make millions of dollars. And it was just a joke that didn't hit very well, unlike Will Smith. I just think there's no behavior. And last thing I'll say, this opens up this whole, like, people copycat things. What happens if a comedian is in a small room and he does crowd work and he's making a joke about somebody, a girlfriend and a boy? This is another ending of comedy. This is another step towards fucking comedy, over to the point where now a comedian might think twice because he's going to make a joke about a drunk couple in the front, and the guy might come up and slap him in the face because it's normalized in this one instance. I think there's huge problems with this. I think the fact that Will Smith's speech, that people gave him the standing ovation, he did give a great 6-minute speech that almost again made me believe that it was part of this act because it portrayed the character of the Williams sisters' parents. Across the board, everything about this to me is wrong.
You know what was interesting? So Suni was doing a live, I think the other day, and one of our friends and followers, Pastor Brian, came on. Suni, do you remember the statement that he made about it? That was like, it was really, really good. And he said, nobody really thought about the fact that here this guy was accepting an award for portraying a positive Black father, a father that was involved in his children's life, right? Who helped them become extremely successful. And what everybody focuses on is a Black man losing his mind at the award show and assaulting another Black man, right? So everything that he did, even Questlove, who won an award too, because nobody's talking about that either. Questlove won an award. Nobody seems to care. I feel bad because, everybody else's achievements were overshadowed by that moment. And I kind of wonder, because I've been saying this, but Jada is for the streets. Like, it wouldn't put it past me. She is. She's for the streets. I mean, it's already well known that she can, take on multiple partners, and she has. And so does Will, right? But maybe there was something that went on with her and Chris.
My thing about Will, though, it's like there's nothing he can't do. He's always gonna end up being a meme somehow. It's like he wasn't the aggressor with August. They made memes about him for crying. Then he ends up being the aggressor on this one. Now he's memed up and still crying. So it's like,
but you know what? People are also leaving out the fact that he gave his wife permission to do that shit. So when everyone is like, well, why didn't you slap August Alsina? Because he told his wife to go bust it open for someone else. So
I think
why would he slap somebody?
I think their whole thing was the fact that August went live with the whole thing that they were keeping secret. I don't know how that whole thing goes on with people doing all that. I don't really care. But it is what it is.
All I know is I did agree with Pastor Brian. People are overshadowing the fact that he won an Oscar for being a president dad. I don't think, and I honestly don't think it's a big deal. People are calling this iconic. This was the first time the Oscars have been produced by an all-Black cast, panel, directors, everything, producers. So look,
I feel discriminated against, by the way.
You shouldn't. They're white every year. It's okay.
You had your chance, Russo.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
got cancer.
Saying, man. Like, if this was supposed to be an iconic moment, then one icon went ratchet and didn't really care and went up there to slap someone. So
hey,
I just think it's
but we
it's
know
stupid.
we do know that this is assault, right? Like, this is assault. And it doesn't
Nah.
have to be, their charges don't have to be pressed by Chris Rock in the state of
This is
California.
not assault, man. This is one man slapping somebody in the face for saying some disrespectful shit.
That's the definition of assault, like by law.
You can't. No, if you want to say assault, I'm down with you. I 100% agree. Then Chris Rock needs to press charges and do it.
That's not the law. The law is based actually on protecting women. It's there to protect women and people that are in fear. The district attorney actually has the right to press charges in a case like this where it is visible when a police
Then let's see the charges.
The charges
They better
would be
not.
assault.
If they press charges, this is the weakest. Like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Let them figure that out. Like, he slapped him.
This
so
is the
what?
law. I'm just
No.
saying.
But it's between them two. Like, so what? That's two men.
So let me-
Officers
let me-
let less go by. Officers let less go by and just go under the radar.
I get it, but let me explain, and they could still be dropped by the DA, but the charges have to be pressed. So in the event, and this is why this started. There was an NFL player. It started we have it in Texas as well. But the whole concept is a woman gets the shit beat out of them by their husband. The police come. The woman is in fear for her life, so she says nothing happened. The police and the attorneys, the police and the district attorney have the responsibility. And again, I know this is different, but this is why they've written the law. It doesn't have to matter between genders now and at all anymore. There at least has to be charges filed by the district attorney to protect the person. They do not need Chris. You do not need the woman. You do not need anybody. You actually will file the charges and you can hear it out in court. That's it. That's the way it works.
Then get it done. That's where I'm calling to say is then get it done. If we're going to actually do that, let's get it done. And we're going to look at the evidence and we're going to look at what the Oscars will provide and what their plan skit was for that period of time of the show. Was this planned or not? Get it done.
It's California, so it won't be. But that's
I done slapped. It's I don't know. For me, when I see it,
I almost went to jail on New Year's. You guys, I'm just saying.
I do think it's a cultural thing because the first thing in my mind wouldn't be this is assault. It would be you said some fucked up shit. I slapped you. Now don't say it again. But with you guys, it's like this is assault charges. Like it's not that serious. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. Like,
I agree with you.
I call it a warning shot.
Serious.
No,
I call it a warning shot.
There you go. Say
exactly
some other shit.
what
Watch
he's
what I
saying.
do to you.
Exactly what Jelani is saying, Suni. I agree with you. But if we're wanting to go by the definition of the law, file charges and let's move forward and let's get things going then. If that's true.
Well, Chris Rock already said he's not about that life.
Right.
So I guess
he's
we're
a
all
man.
just gonna have to drop that.
He's actually got balls. If he would have pressed charges, I would clown on Chris Rock every day.
Chris Rock would have pressed charges.
But you just proved the point.
Shit.
You just proved my point. Your words literally just because he just became, and I get he made him the man in this situation, but he knows that it would be the end of his career. He would be considered a bitch if he pressed charges. So when the law is broken, it's the district attorney's role to make sure charges are filed because Chris Rock is although the victim, quote unquote, he can't do anything about it because it would affect his career. It's no different than a woman in fear for her life. I mean, it's different.
I was going to say, if he did press charges, I would have believed it a little bit more. But
even if he wasn't Chris Rock and this was someone else and you were at the barbershop and you said some shit like this, bro, if you press charges, you are a punk. I don't even care that it's Chris Rock. It's the principle. You're gonna press. I slapped you, so you're gonna press charges.
But in that case, if Chris Rock, if I'm gonna get slapped by somebody like Will Smith, I might as well go head up, seeing how we're not gonna. I'm not gonna let him slap me in the face and everybody see that shit. I'm a meme now.
And let's be honest, we all have spent more time on this one topic than those two have.
Hey, did you guys see? Can somebody bring up Jada's Instagram page if you can?
Oh Jesus!
So I'm sorry, not Jada. Bring up Will's, okay? I'm gonna read.
Oh, his apology.
No. I want you to see someone else. So Jada issued a statement on her Instagram page that said, "This is a season for healing, and I'm here for it."
Yeah.
Like, they've already announced that they're going to talk about this at the red table, of course, so that's no surprise. But what I wanted you to bring up her Will's Instagram for is the day of the Oscars. They had posted this video of them like on a green screen in their outfits, and the caption reads, "Me and Jada Pinkett Smith got all dressed up to choose chaos."
Yeah,
That's what it said.
this is
So-
epic.
Wow.
Got in one little fight, and my wife's lost here. She said, "You better slap Chris Rock, or I'm having an affair." Guess who shared this?
You
You.
do.
Okay.
Donald Trump Jr. Gotta love him.
Oh, God.
I think I forget who it was. They posted Will Smith's relationship is open to everything except jokes.
Right.
Boom. Boom.
Overall, it's stupid, and it was a slap. I think people need to get over themselves. We slapped him, bro. You say some stuff to me on the right. Look, you say the right thing to me on the wrong day, bro. I
yeah.
just might slap
No,
you.
Weirdly enough,
there's
that was my first time watching the Oscars in a long time, and I felt like if I was gonna watch that shit, somebody better have gotten slapped. Being honest, so I guess that I got what I kind of wanted.
there's definitely a time to choose violence for sure. You know, like I definitely, if anything done or said about my kids, I would definitely choose violence. But again, I cannot justify his actions with what was said. Even if it was a joke about his wife. No, not everybody knows that Jada has alopecia. Okay, her daughter's bald, her son wears a skirt, the whole family's fucked up. Like, are we just to assume she has a medical condition?
And
I like
even
that.
though alopecia is treatable, by the way, by a new drug by Pfizer, and it is 90, and I'm making up a percent, but 90-something% of the time, there is no actual real side effects aside from hair loss, which although it's bad, like it's unfortunate for somebody, but it's not, this is not some terminal illness that is affecting her ability to breathe and walk. And I don't want to sound insensitive, but come on, man. Like,
Hey,
And
one side
it-
effect is your showers are faster.
yeah.
So, I'm saying,
But and
man.
it's also brought on by stress, which is even funnier to me because her whole show is based on getting centered with yourself and bringing peace to your life. And she goes out into the forest and smokes weird drugs so that she doesn't have to pay for therapy or whatever the fuck it is. So why is anybody watching her for advice? Seriously.
And then I don't know where somebody shared it with me. Let me see if I can find it real fast. They shared with me the old clip of her like 2 years ago. Was it Christine that shared
Maybe
it?
she gives advice that helps other people, but doesn't really help herself. But she knows it helps other people. One of those things.
There's a video of her essentially a couple years ago being like, this doesn't define me. I really don't care. People can say whatever. No big deal to me. And it's like, well, sorry. I mean, it's a joke. Even if Chris Rock did know and he's followed your Instagram, he would know that you're okay with a couple jokes. Like, calm the fuck down.
I don't think he knew because, being honest
I
with
don't
you,
think he did
all
either.
the people I know, I barely know a lot of things, but I do know the things that I want to know.
Yeah, and here's another thing. There's amazing. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, if it's that big of a deal, wear a wig. Oh no, you'd rather wear a $40,000 diamond headpiece. Now we've beaten this topic way further than I want to. We all have different opinions, and I think they're all healthy. They're all different ways of looking at it. I don't think it should be normalized or okay. I don't think it should be front and center in the media, but it's here, so we got to talk about it. Now, this is where I think things get comical. The CNN and Howard Stern have both had pieces where they relate this to Trumpism. Anybody want to take this?
Nope.
No. It's so dumb.
That's dumb.
I don't have the brain cells to compute
That's
and
ridiculous.
connect the dots.
Let me see if I
Just
can pull up
like,
the article.
yeah, summarize what her reasoning was.
Let me. Okay,
need
so it's
more.
actually not a video. Let's see. So, oh wait, maybe it is. Hold on. CNN's name's Trump. Yeah, let me see if this is the right clip. Give me a split second.
Right? You said CNN.
Is it Jeffrey Toobin? Here, talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm gonna
Wait.
say it's racism. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here.
Hold
and say
on.
it's racism.
Jeffrey Toobin, the guy that got caught jerking off on a
Yeah.
Beating
Zoom
his
meeting.
meat. Yeah.
Yes.
Beat his meat.
Nice.
Yeah,
You can keep your job after doing stuff like that.
Well,
I
no,
guess
you got
if you
rehired.
work for CNN, yes.
You get
mean-
fired and rehired a few months later.
Right.
So no, okay, this is not a
Well,
this is not a
you
they
can
don't have a
hide
video of it,
him.
but here it is. During the Oscars on Sunday night, Smith charged a stage. We all know this, yada yada yada. CNN's Asha Rangappa decided if you're wondering, she got her job because of her merit. Anyways, let's see. She decided the Dolby Theater crowd stuck around because of Trump. So did anyone walk out after that happened, or are we getting independent psychological case study on how Trump got normalized? Rangapapa asked on Twitter. She said, she was swiftly mocked for blaming Trump on the incident. So her tweet was essentially saying that us normalizing a man slapping another man, thinking it's okay, was not because of upbringing, not because of the fact that we watch movies with violence all the time, or the fact that it wasn't even that violent, or the fact that nobody really truly gave a shit. Her issue was because Trump normalized it.
Whoa, I just realized it all makes sense now. She watched Trump on WWE and then Will Smith.
Oh my God.
I see it. It makes all the sense.
That's crazy.
Trump normalized it. Okay, lady.
Why is CNN allowed on air?
I don't know.
God.
You want to cancel them?
They're the most disingenuous news outlet. Like, they're worse than MSDNC. Seriously, they're worse than most left-leaning.
This is worse, and I'm going to tell you why. The fact that this woman still has a job is worse. Last year, Rangapapa doxed an intern from Washington Free Beacon, putting her personal contact information on Twitter for the world to see, and mocked her as a Karen. And then she was forced to remove the message. She's also, this gets better. That's woman,
a crime. Federal
it is a crime. She's also a senior lecturer at Yale University. She once criticized former U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley for going by Nikki, which is her middle name, instead of going by Nimrata. I actually did not know that. A name on her birth certificate. She continues her support for wearing COVID masks. This is the people that CNN hires. Oh, God.
It doesn't help. Fox News is not any better. They just put Piers Morgan and created a new TV show for him.
Sorry, this woman's insane. Masks are a reflection of social trust in society, self-interest well understood. It's the ability to make a small sacrifice that benefits the public good, and in doing so benefits you as well. The U.S. currently has very low levels of social trust. This woman needs to be fired.
See, right after that, I would have been like, so what are your thoughts on a Hunter Biden laptop? Like,
it doesn't exist to her. That's her response. There's no such thing.
Unreal.
Hunter Biden is a saint.
Anyways,
Hunter Biden is.
Oh, Jesus.
Howard Stern said that what Will Smith did was just something that Trump would have done, and that was his kind of correlation.
Yeah, on WWE. Other than that, how many people have he slapped?
Unreal. Yeah, I don't. No, he's just saying the persona of bully. It's clearly being like, we had a bully in the White House. I don't.
These guys are watching too much of Trump's highlights.
Yeah, watch a full speech. All right, let's move on. Let's go into Trump. How about who knows the most on this topic? Because it's not me. Trump suing Hillary.
I know, kind of.
I don't know anything about it.
I know of it. That's it.
They're using the RICO case in order to sue her.
Well, go ahead. Give a little breakdown, Jelani, and then.
Man, I only know that part. I mean, because he's trying to sue her as like an organization, so she's like doing it as a lump sum, actually. So it's more than just her. But that's all I kind of know.
What's the RICO? What's the RICO case?
You know, when they get people for like drug bust or like for
organized crime.
Organized crime. There you go. So she's pretty much organized this whole thing against Trump in order to spy on him and do this. And
the Russian collusion. So he's essentially trying to, and again, I'm not going to present the news on this one. Here's the truth. Trump is suing Hillary, and we'll leave it at that. But it sounds like he might be doing a RICO statute, which means essentially talking about it being an organized crime to defame him and present things like Russia collusion. So that's it. There's going to be more to it. I'm sure there'll be some stuff going on.
Let's be clear though, because we're talking. He is suing Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and 26 other people.
Yeah, I said it's more than that. Like I said, it's more than just
there's
her.
A lot of people involved in this. I don't know what those other 26 are, but Hillary Clinton and the DNC are the two big parts in this mix.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a 24 million right now. It's a $24 million lawsuit. I mean, it's gigantic. And I think we'd be wrong to just kind of like, oh, well, let's just see what happens. I mean, I think this is a really big deal. And I think, my theory is there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to start to come out that's going to distract people from paying attention to this, because this is where the truth is going to come out. This is not just Trump, making an accusation. They're going to do just loads of discovery, and that stuff is going to make its way out eventually, and they're not going to want people
Hopefully.
to see that.
Yeah,
only if
more
it's not
faith than I do.
settled. Only if they don't settle it. If they settle it, none of that information is going to.
Trump doesn't care about
I
settling.
think they're hoping it leads to the other stuff like Hunter Biden's laptop.
Trump doesn't care about settling, but he's also selling his Trump Tower in Washington, D.C.
He wants
Oh,
the
I'm
hell
buying
out of
that.
Washington, D.C., wouldn't you?
I'm buying that. How much? I got enough.
You don't know what he needs right now.
I think he's fine.
He's going to Mars.
I heard he had a hole in one.
Don't bring that up around Sunni. Sunni will go off on you. I learned that.
So,
really?
at this brief intermission, I'd like to take a word from one of our sponsors. Friends, the world is becoming more unglued by the day. We're seeing sky-high gas prices, higher food prices, shortages, and more. How should you respond? Go to preparewithbtc.com and secure long-term emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. Global supply chains could break down very soon. We don't know, especially since Joey Basements last week said, we're going to have food shortages. So he essentially did my selling for me. Global supply chains breaking down. Today is the day to act. My Patriot Supply is by far the largest preparedness company in America. They're in stock and shipping quickly in unmarked boxes to your door. Their emergency foods last up to 25 years in storage. When you need it, it will be there. Act now. Save $150 and get free shipping on their vital 3-month emergency food kits. They provide breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, drinks. Is there liquor in there? Anyways, totaling 2,000 calories a day.
No.
Make sure your family has at least 1 3-month food supply. So again, go to preparewithbtc.com and save $150 and get free shipping on 3-month food kits. And the link is right there as you can see it. That's preparewithbtc.com. Okay, I'm done. That was fun. All right. Moving on.
Love it. Love it.
Woo!
If I could just do that all day.
You should just record it and then play it at one point in the show.
I like adding a little flair based on the weekly topic. It's an affiliate, Tracy, so it's kind of like a sponsor, but it's like I don't get anything from unless you guys make sure that you're stocking up for the end of the world. Anyways, let's go to speaking of the end of the world. Let's talk about Utah. That's a great transition, Jenny. Fantastic. Even though you're talking about shipping. Casey, I'm going to let you and Sunni take this one, and I don't know much about it, so I'm just going to respond.
There's not much. Sunni, if you want to give your point, and then we'll jump in. No big deal.
Yeah, I brought it up because you have a governor who is trying to fight against a sports ban, that bars transgenders from being able to play in a sport they identify with. Of course, people overrode it, but the fact that he wanted to block it is disgusting. And I think those politicians need to be put on Front Street, because it's I'm sorry, but it's not normal, and it's not right. Nobody should be having to fight and have this conversation in government. Like it should be a well-known fact. Well, look, you want to run around in costume, do you? But the fact that you want to participate in sports that you're not biologically designated to, and you have politicians who are supporting this, is gross. It's gross. And that was my main point of contention, is like, are you serious?
No, you're 100% on point. The thing is when we had our conversation back and forth in the chat, and with that, it's not necessarily that he was in the right or the wrong. We knew that was going in with him. He was the lesser of two evils, to say the least. I was kind of on board with him, but by the way that he was pushing some things and changing it, and then this was my final straw. I'm done. I'm like, dude, I gave you a chance. you're out of here next try. But the part is this is where the importance comes in of the checks and balances that we have in our country, and especially when it comes to your states. Like, you have your legislature that can override your governor, just like our legislature from Congress can override the president. If you get 2/3 the vote, you can actually override their decision and they can't veto it. That is what we did here in Utah. So our governor did get rid of it and vetoed it. Our Congress called a special session, not a Congress, House and Senate locally. They called a special session, brought everybody in, got 2/3 of the vote, made a few modifications, just nothing major, just a couple lines to appease to everybody, and made those changes. We passed it with 2/3 of the vote within a few hours, and the governor has no choice. That's the importance of understanding the process on why we have checks and balances in place in our states, in our government, federally, so we can make sure that they are representing the people. And the people, if you were to look at the polls that is happening from Fox News, from ABC and NBC here locally in Utah, they're all polling to be around 60% in support of removing it. The only one that was not is the governor, which is why I keep telling you guys, be engaged. Like, that is how powerful this is. And overall, like, I sent some messages on Monday, I sent some messages on Tuesday to representatives, even representatives that are not even mine. And I was like, how does this look? Do I need to come down, and do we need to get people around to show support? And they're like, no, it's a done deal. We're set. We have enough votes. We'll be okay. Because the media was saying we have enough votes. But we voted and we passed it, and it was fantastic. That is the power we have, and that's what we need to do. And if you ever have this come up in your state, I encourage you to follow those same processes.
So where do you guys disagree?
We don't.
We don't disagree.
Oh, okay.
The disagreement was it was more just the way it was phrased at the beginning until we understood where we both stood, and that was it. So we don't actually disagree.
I agree. I mean, it should, for people that think similar to us, I think it's an open and shut thing. I don't get what would be the governor's motive to try to shut that down? I mean, he's a Republican. Woke. He's a Republican governor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, ironically, his name is Cox, which I find funny.
Maybe he didn't read it correctly.
This just really cements what I have been saying. And this, a lot of people get really sensitive when I say there are some things that you need to have a firm stance on. And no means no. This is why. It's you let so much in that it becomes a slippery slope, and it's like, okay, well, I got to let these people. Okay, well, you're fighting for this. Okay, well, listen. There's a reason we have log cabin Republicans, which is separate from the Conservative Party and a part of the GOP. There is that distinction there. This is a special interest lobbying LGBT group. They're lobbying for legislation that we don't agree with. They're lobbying for legislation to let teachers openly be gay. You're starting to see that everywhere, where teachers are talking to their students in kindergarten, pre-K, whatever, about other genders. And it's because we've been so inclusive. Me personally, I like to highlight, like, this is what I'm talking about. We have made it so acceptable that now politicians are like, okay, well, they're going to be cool with this. I'm just going to veto it. And I'm probably going to get extra votes because a lot of Republicans went woke. It really did. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
So this isn't surprising from Cox in general, just so you guys know. Like, he was a super BLM guy back in 2020. I was involved with some people starting a group together locally. And then when we had our first riot, and practically our only one that happened,
mostly here, peaceful protest.
Yeah,
right.
Mostly peaceful protest. Yeah, sure. Just a car flipped on its head and burnt, and 7-Eleven looted. That's okay. But
football games, you guys, football games.
So overall, when it comes down to it, he was all in with them, and he's also all in with the transgender community. And it's showing to those that are really not there with him. Even though me included, I did also vote for him and others did too, thinking because of the stuff that he changed, he did well as our lieutenant governor, but now it shows how quickly politicians change their stance. And so we have to pay attention to their moves and be like, are we in support of that or no?
Right.
And that's the big stance that we have to do.
You want to see how far it goes? Like, this weekend was the most like weekend for me. I was like, this is how far we've gone. This is how far we've gone. Literally, look at this. Did y'all read this? Let me give you a few seconds. First of all, what ovaries do you have to transport eggs to your uterus to be fertilized? Second of all, what fallopian tubes do you have to facilitate this? What uterus do you have to even initiate cramps? You have gas, man. Okay? You have gas. That's it. Also, PSA, being a woman is not a feeling. That's
Suni,
how far we've gone.
Suni, why do you have to be so mad at people that go to Taco Bell?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this is fake. No, this is a real transgender person who is saying he has period cramps. And we're supposed to just go along to get along. I'm not going along with your delusion. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We've been way too accepting, and this is what we're allowing. People need
you
to
guys
have some
already know
balls to say no.
I stopped with all that when my daughter was getting bullied at 11 with her schoolmates. So, I mean, when she's getting called homophobic and even called racist just because you don't give a shit, it's like, okay, well, now I got to step in because I raised my daughter in Seattle and shit. So it's like I raised her not to really care, but at the same time, you're not going to bully her because she doesn't care that much.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
My daughter doesn't care so much. She hurts my feelings sometimes. So get over it.
Just as long as she doesn't get slapped by Will Smith. I just think it's so, I mean, you include what's going on with sports right now, common sense, and the way they're doing it to children. The transgender movement has become a problem, a big problem. And I think it ruins it. Like watching Steven Crowder do the prove me wrong about there's two genders or two sexes in sports and how it's different. They shouldn't be allowed to compete. And watching the argument makes me realize that this ultra leftist philosophy is ruining it for those that really do have mental disorders that want to go through their life as a transgender, because it's making them all look ridiculous. There's a difference between being like, I am so uncomfortable in my body. I have a true condition, gender dysmorphia. I understand that it's something that's a mental disorder and I just want to be accepted for me. It takes those people and lumps them in the category of a guy with a dick swimming against women.
Right.
And it's a fucking problem. I'm sorry.
Well,
that's gross.
And the big emphasis from the Utah story, guys, is just remember you have the power and your legislature has the power. You guys can make changes. Your governor doesn't make all the decisions.
Can I give you some pushback on that, though?
Yeah, let's go.
That's Utah. You have states like Cali, New York, hell, North Carolina. We're still fighting against that. But you have people that have adopted this slippery slope of an ideology that, well, why not? Sure. They're not bothering anyone. So I don't want to paint a unrealistic picture that, hey, your state legislator, if you push them enough, will stand up for this, because you have some very, very woke Republicans now. They probably always been.
Do you think they're woke, Suni, or do you think they are knowing where the trend is going and their ability to gain Democratic votes is to be this woke. They're seeing the 16 to 18-year-old group aging up to 18 to 20, the new voters. Do you think that I think that they're just doing it because they are getting the readings, the math, and they're going, this is how I survive. This is how I stay votable, and I get Democratic votes, and this keeps me in office.
No. I think they're woke, and it's just from my experience with Mo. My experience with this movement and the people in it and the politicians that we come across, man, it is very eye-opening. A lot of these people believe the shit that they say.
It's true. I used to be one of them. I believed that shit so hard, and I was a gang member. You guys.
They pretend they don't. I think a lot of people pretend, not even pretend, but they put on this persona of conservatism, and I'm for the nuclear family, and you're seeing all those people show their ass on topics like this. They're woke.
Yeah, but
I think that's kind of what Russo's saying is, yeah, that can be a little bit wokeism, but I think it's also they're just saying whatever they have to say to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Because like Suni, we talk about this all the time. People in our movement that say that they're for the nuclear family or that they're conservative and they, have biblical values, right? But then when the heat gets a little hot and their followers start jumping off, then they kind of backtrack on what they said, to soften the message. So I think it's a little bit of both.
See, I'm not as far as you guys on this topic. And I'm somebody that does, like, I believe in the nuclear family, but I do believe that there is some gray area. There is some openness for gay marriage. And also we have a slightly difference of opinion, but if I was ever pressed with the topic, I would not veto this. I think it's ignorant to, I think everything that DeSantis is doing in Florida is the right way to go. I think that anybody, especially that's raised Republican and I wasn't raised Republican, but is a part of this party, they understand right from wrong. They just choose to go with the wrong because it helps them get votes and stay in power, because we don't have friggin' term limits and we don't, there's no exit for these people. So they say, how do I keep staying in here? How do I keep sucking the teeth of government before I have to go in office or go out of office? I do what my pollsters tell me to do on certain topics. And this is one. I can't imagine 60-year-old ex-conservative or conservative white guy. I'm learning a little bit about him briefly. I can't imagine him actually being like, you know what? I think it's okay. What is he? What is he? Give me a rundown on him.
Russo just barely described 80% of the politicians. 60-year-old white guy.
Well, right. So
I'm in Washington State. That would be about 90%.
Okay, I'm looking at this guy right now. I don't see him as a guy that all of a sudden in his mid-60s goes, you know what? I think it's okay that women, biological males should compete against. I don't see that at all in this guy, except for it doesn't make any sense.
Who is this guy, or who are you describing?
I'm looking at pictures of Governor Cox right now.
Oh, he is not 60. I'll tell you that right now.
Cox.
What is he? 50?
Oh, he is definitely not 60.
He looks.
Governor Cox is young. That's the problem I have.
Shout out to Nay in the chat, man.
Maybe he accidentally fell in love.
Overall, I agree with you.
Accidentally.
I feel you, Russo, on what you're saying, but the big part is around this, when it comes to making these decisions, that this decision was not made by polls and their people. This decision was made on feelings. And this was decision made by how they feel on how to do it. For example, I can pull up a video, which I probably should show you guys, by a senator here in Utah. His name is Daniel Thatcher, which I absolutely despise. He used to be my senator before I moved. And he's like, I feel this is the wrong way to do things, and I am standing by my feelings. And it's like, that is not why you are in office. And I even had this conversation with my current mayor, and he even said, yeah, that's not how you make decisions. It's not off your feelings, and it's not how you feel. You represent the people of your community. That is how you make the decisions. That is it.
But I feel that you're wrong.
I don't give a shit about your feelings, Jelani.
Well, I feel
Jahwani?
that-
What kind of racist shit is that? It's Jelani. Get it right. This is
I
not
said Jelani.
Juani.
Sorry, I can't spit words out very well.
Of course, he wouldn't be able to say it. It's an ancient Wakandan name, so of course he wouldn't be able to say it.
All right,
You're racist.
let's get off this.
But overall, there's no problem. It's just we see eye to eye, and overall with this whole topic is I wanted to emphasize with this thing is everybody, you have the power if you can bring people together. That is it. Bring people together, get the votes changed, override the governor. That's how you can do it.
Better place. Shauna, we can't keep track of all the states, but we would love to know more. So if you could send us these bad bills, I know you're on YouTube, maybe post a link that you can do it or whatever it might be. If you're friends with us on Facebook, I know Nikki does a great job of tracking that down. But I'm curious because California has laws coming out of it that's so egregious that they look like a Babylon Bee article, but they're true. That's the crazy part about California.
California is just
That was a
nuts.
good one.
We should just sell it to China.
That was a good one.
Thanks,
First time
Nikki.
having a good one.
Hey,
I'm proud of you. You
Not
always
the
have
first
dad
time.
jokes. That was a good one.
oh, dad jokes.
Well, on that note, you guys finish the rest of the show.
Oh,
God,
I'm
no more
out.
dad jokes.
Hey, let's do it.
All right, let's talk Clarence Thomas.
Suni, you can't support that. You can't.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence
Clarence Thomas, huh?
So
I don't know, man. I think Mo was telling me about this. And I'm going to be honest, I paid very little attention to it because I think it is absolutely absurd how they're trying to make a nothing burger into a something burger. Texting, she's a United States citizen and a voter, just like we all are. So if she has questions and concerns about the, you know what, then she's got questions and concerns about it. Well, why is this newsworthy? I guess I would, if I could talk to the media, why is this newsworthy? Like, what's the big deal?
I agree. But Mo, go ahead on this one because
Yeah,
I know you know a lot about this.
I think it's the way that they framed it that makes it newsworthy. Because if you actually look into it and you read the text, which I can, read here for you,
Mhm.
but it's not that big of a deal. So I'll read a couple of excerpts from her text. So she was texting the White House chief of staff that was in office when Mark Meadows, when Trump was in office. And her text messages read, "Help this great president stand firm, Mark. You are the leader with him, who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history." That was on November 10th, 2020. Then she said, "This is a fight of good versus evil. Evil always looks like the victor until the King of Kings triumphs. Do not grow weary in well-doing. The fight continues. I have staked my career on it. Well, at least my time on DC on it." So she, there might be more text to it, but essentially, I was talking to Suni about this, and I said, I think people are just kind of looking at the surface of what they're trying to do here. If you remember Trump or Biden, when he was debating Trump during the presidential elections, the issue of packing the court came up many, many times. And Biden refused to answer the question. He said, the American people don't deserve to know whether I'm going to pack the court. And I'm not going to answer that question until and if I get put into office. And, people kept saying, well, why are we paying attention to packing the court? Because as you know, we were all focused on COVID, right? So nobody was paying attention to him saying anything about packing the court. But packing the court is a big deal. And I'm going to bring it back to the Trump suing Hillary situation, because this is why it's a big deal. Okay. Very soon, a lot of these people, we're talking the congressmen, the senators that are stepping down from their positions, right? For whatever reason, we don't know. The people that are named in this lawsuit, the people that are on Putin's do not come here list, right? His banned list. Those people are all going to be in a lot of trouble. And when and if that does go to the highest court in the land, it would be terrible if they did not have a court packed full of Democratic, leftist, liberals to rule in their favor. So that's why this is a big deal. So now they're asking for Justice Thomas to resign from his position or face impeachment, according to AOC. And you look at that and you go, wait a minute. The president's son has pornographic images on his computer and evidence that he has been trading our secrets, for God knows what, and drugs. And that's not a problem, but the justice's wife, which the justice wasn't even involved in these text messages, texting about concerns that all the American people had, is an impeachable offense? Are you crazy?
Same thing they did with Trump on the Russia phone call.
Same.
They just want to impeach him just so it'll smear his name, just like Trump. I'm like, I still have people till this day still saying, "Oh, well, Trump got impeached." I'm like, well, they were failed impeachment. It just shows up that way because he got impeached.
But you know what? I would say go ahead and try to impeach me if I was Justice Thomas, because here's the thing. Justice Thomas is notorious for being very tight-lipped. He is a very, very quiet justice.
Balls.
He rarely speaks, and when he does, it is something very profound that he says. So if I were him, I would call their bluff and say, bring the impeachment on.
Well, do you notice what? Go ahead, Casey, and then I'm going to say something.
My thing to add to this is I agree with what you're saying, Mo. I do. The other thing is go back and look at the history between Justice Thomas and Joe Biden. They had beef in the past. It existed and it's publicized. So something is there. The part that I find also very interesting with this, which we have seen, which I got baited into myself, when he went into the hospital, why was this widely spread? It was everywhere just because he went to the hospital. And turns out it was made out worse than it really was. He was really more having flu-like symptoms. There were rumors of infections and all this stuff that who knows what was true. He's protected from those things, but because he doesn't need to release that. The part that I look at is the sequence of events here. And I'm starting to look at it as what was being set up. And that's what I see right now. And yeah, I think they're setting the stage just like they did with what's her face? RGB is how I want to call her name, but I can't say her full name.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
RGB. Yeah. She went into the hospital. She was treated the same way, and then she was kind of pushed out, but she didn't make it, right? And I think they're doing the same situation here. And it's getting weird. Clarence Thomas, in my opinion, has been, and this is where my libertarian side comes from, I think he's more libertarian than any other of the justices that we have. And I love his decision making and I appreciate it. And he's taking on some crazy stuff. He has. But I think he's being pressured because they know they cannot stack the justice. They can't change that. It will not happen. And so they're just trying to push certain people out. Is what
they're finding the targets. And I'm gonna be honest. I think the correlation in time was big. Right when he went into the doctor, we don't know how sick. Again, it could have been more mild. You've got what is probably one of the most stoic and tough judges that we have, conservatives or libertarians. Somebody that is a true constitutionalist. Get him when he's weak. Because the thought process, a healthy Clarence Thomas it doesn't give a shit about impeachment, but somebody that is possibly getting older, getting a little weaker, possibly getting sicker. This is when you attack and hope that he decides to leave. This is the weakest spot they could find because, of course, it's going to be hard to stack the court. So might as well find a way to replace a guy that you would never expect to leave the court. They are licking their chops. They're not seeing him as a human being. They're seeing him as a number on the Supreme Court because this is ridiculous. There is no reason why this should be an issue. They're bringing up the fact that what's her name? Ginny, his wife, was a part of the Heritage Foundation, and they're saying that he should be recusing himself from pretty much anything that has to do with the conservative issue in government. Because of her comments, which are fair to have. You're fair to have any belief system possible. And that wasn't that. If she would have called on violence, different story. She never called on violence. She questioned things like any American is allowed to do. She was on the Heritage Foundation from 2004 to 2007. That's 15 years ago. Heritage Foundation is a known conservative group. He's a conservative judge. Who cares? Like, this is so much to do about nothing. And again, we talk about the fact Republicans suck too, but this is that nature of the left that is so ridiculous
Evil.
and disgusting and evil. Agreed, Mo. That
I don't suck anything.
You don't what?
I'm endorsed by the Republican Party.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's right. The Republican Party is fantastic.
It's like, nah. I know a lot of rhinos that need to eat a bag of dicks.
There's good Republicans. There's more good Republicans than there are good Democrats. Let's be very clear on that. I mean, do you disagree?
I think you're being generous. I really do. I think there are just as many good Republicans as there are Democrats.
Well, in my mission statement, I said I would work with both Republicans, Democrats, and
to say that it comes off as disingenuous because we're on this side. To say that, well, I think there are very little good Republicans or very little good Democrats and more good Republicans when they're legit doing the exact same thing.
Not all.
Both parties. If you look at the main people who are constantly in the limelight, they're both doing absolutely nothing. Even the quote unquote good Republicans are virtually doing nothing. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't see why people praise DeSantis so much, because he's done very suspect things that we would all be against. He's a red flag law governor. He's also a violation of freedom of speech governor, and no one seems to give a damn about that.
How is that?
He did very. How is that? What do you mean?
How is a violation of speech governor? Explain that one to me.
Because he's punishing schools and students for questioning the Holocaust. Imagine if there was a bill saying you couldn't question slavery. You wouldn't be for that.
We both, we did a show on that one. We looked into that bill. We had slightly different opinions. These are small decisions based on a whole body of work right now where he's crushing it in Florida to actually represent the voice of those that are conservatives and free speech minded. He had a difference of opinion in Judy in the Holocaust.
That's small to say from pre-K to college. You can't talk about the Holocaust or I'm snatching money from you. That's a violation of free speech. Number one, government can't punish you for speech. That's the literal First Amendment. You cannot be punished for speech. The government is not supposed to bother you for that. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you want to have. And the fact that he's violating it and it's not a big deal is kind of alarming to me. Because if there was a bill that said you as a white man couldn't talk about slavery or reference black people in a certain light, we would all be on here advocating for you being able to talk about that, because it's absurd to say that you can.
No, I think it would be more of, would there be a bill that says I can't say that slavery never happened?
That's stupid too, because you're allowed to say what you want.
Not as an educator, I should at least try to speak some semblance of truth.
Not Whoopi.
Like I said,
that'd be kind of weird.
Your freedom of speech is untouched.
How is that a weird, how is that a weird comparison?
I mean, as far as like the whole slavery didn't exist thing, I thought that was kind of weird.
Well, the whole topic on Florida was that you wouldn't allow a teacher to have the opinion of a Holocaust denier, saying that the Holocaust. It was
more than that. There was way more than that in that bill.
But that was that was kind of the meat and potatoes. That was the issue that we discussed the most.
No, my issue was the entire bill. Telling you what you can and cannot say about not even just the Holocaust, Jewish people in general. That's absurd. And that's a violation of speech. It's illegal for the government to even have any merit on what you say. We bring that up all the time. When people say, I have freedom of speech. Yes, from the government, but not of any consequences.
So who controls curriculum?
The government.
So who controls curriculum?
The state does. But that's not limiting free speech.
Yeah, it's Suni's right about who controls the curriculum, but honestly, it should be the people that control the curriculum. And right now, it's being exposed and showing that we really don't have control of what our kids are taught. COVID really exposed that, and no one wants to talk about it. If anybody wants to talk about it, look at, or if you have kids and they were at school, but at home watching it on their tablets or laptops, whatever it was, you would see everything going on. And that's where parents need to get back engaged in taking back control. Now, is it the government's place to teach our kids? No, absolutely not. And that's what we need to be promoting, is the government does not need to be in everyday lives and teaching our kids.
So does that mean, and Jenny brings up a great point, which is the next place I was going to go. So that means that anybody that's not allowing CRT to be taught in schools, it's no different.
This is
But
disanalogous.
are they being taxed?
This is disanalogous. That's a bad comparison. CRT teaches young white kids that they should be ashamed of being white, and black children that they should be only looked at as slaves. Questioning the Holocaust is not comparable to CRT.
Tell that to 2 million Jews.
Okay, I'm talking to one now. Is that supposed to like? That doesn't change my view on that. I'm going to speak the truth no matter who is there. So if there was 40 million blacks watching me, I would say CRT is crap.
So I think the government and the state has to guide education. And if the choice is to guide it to make sure that it's taught that there was a Holocaust, and I know there was other parts of the bill, I don't see how it's any different.
Russo, why is it that you want government to guide education but not guide us on medical advice?
I do think that there should be some kind of guidance on medical advice, but it shouldn't be bought and paid for. There was a time and a place when Bloomberg said that he wanted there to be a tax on soda over 12 ounces. I was like, our country is morbidly obese. I'm almost down with that, even though it sounds ridiculous. I think there should be guidance.
That sugar tax in Washington State sucks.
The sugar tax, I actually consider some of these possibly a benefit because people don't know any damn better and they don't care. Regardless, going back to the main
topic, is it the government's place to manage people?
No,
it is not.
So why are we looking at the government to make our decisions?
So then let every shitty teacher on the planet that is so ultra woke, let them teach CRT to the kids. Why not?
Well, let them do that, but then also open up to where we have school choice.
Agreed.
To where we can actually put our kids in schools that we support.
I believe in school choice, and I do believe in basic government guiding the actual principles of curriculum. Curriculum just doesn't fall from the sky. There has to be some kind of guidance. Otherwise, again, you've got teachers that are underpaid. You've got teachers that have come from woke ass institutions. If you don't give them a framework for curriculum, how are they gonna? It's gonna make it even worse because I'm gonna tell you there's a higher percentage of left teachers than right teachers. So if you don't want to give a guidance based on the state, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah,
so I just think it's I don't know, man. I just think it's funny that, and I'm gonna be brutally honest, and sorry for people who are offended.
You're fine.
I think it's very funny how Jews will throw around the threat of say that to a bunch of Jews. But those same people have questions about slavery. They have questions about racism. They question horrific pieces of Black history, and no one's threatening to shut them the fuck up. But when you talk about something that has to do with the Holocaust or Jews, you're threatened beyond measure. You're called anti-Semitic. You guys are doing, and I'm speaking in general, you're doing nothing different than Black people do to white people. Except for you're not just threatening white people, you got the whole world in check on what they can and cannot say about you. That's trash.
I honestly don't think it's that drastic because there's the fact that there's even a discussion about whether or not you could talk about the Holocaust being real or fake is another thing. This is a perfect comment. CRT is wrong. So is thinking that the Holocaust never happened. If you think slavery never happened, it's wrong. Was there Jews that did horrific things to try to stay alive and they sold out their neighbors? They were pieces of shit too. George Soros is an example of that piece of shit.
But you can't say that is the problem.
That's
the overall problem. You cannot say that in the state of Florida from pre-K of all places
You can't say
to
what.
college. What you just said.
Yes, you can.
Russo, read the bill. No, you can't.
You can't say that there was bad Jews.
No, you can't speak of them in a bad light.
The bill does give the leadership of what has happened in Germany a band-aid or a cover-up, if you want to call that.
I would like to reread the bill, but we can bring that up on a different show. I just think ultimately that education needs to be guided by somebody. I don't think it could be free form and allow a bunch of young liberal teachers to teach students.
Well, put it on the parents. Put it on the parents, dude.
That the parents need to get more involved, but creating curriculum, that's another issue. There's a lot of woke parents too. You're going to be fighting. You're never going to get done.
That's fine. You can't control that, but it is up. For example, me and my two boys, if I want to raise them the way I want to raise them, I get to raise them the way I see fit, right? If it's wokeness or not, I get to raise them that way. That is the freedom in our country. So it doesn't matter.
So I get it.
Now,
so how do you get to a vote? How do you get to a place where it's
why is there a vote
in public school? So if you have a conservative government in that area, the education is going to be void of CRT. It's going to be maybe pro-Israel, whatever the frig it is. So that's the area that it's going to be. But I'm going to tell you, if you get a bunch of parents together, they're going to fight tooth and nail, and you will get nowhere except for you're going to have, say you live in a woke area, you're going to have to move. Because if you have a woker area that's 60%, your kids are going to be learning CRT, etc. So
no, CRT, and to address Pinky's question, no, that stuff, that's what I'm talking about. Is I don't believe this stuff should be taught in a classroom. I think it should come from a parent.
That's disanalogous to then though, Casey, because we're talking about history versus LGBTQ. That's not history.
Exactly. I agree with Suni on that one. That one to me does not match. I think slavery and
they would disagree with you. And then they would hit you, and then they would tell you, well, the history of LGBTQ started with a black woman. And then
I've grown up my whole life with everybody disagreeing with me. I've never had a problem.
They hit me with that so much on TikTok. They're like, it's your history. I'm like, oh, you're going to try to do me like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
But overall, the whole thing is I think we need to put more pressure on the parents to be parents. We need to make their lives a little bit easier to do so. Which creates a culture around that. So we got to create a culture to be able to enable parents to actually be parents. Right now, we're pushing parents to work harder and make less, but we're not actually trying to improve that.
Do we find it ironic that we praised DeSantis for that you guys praised DeSantis for the whole making sure that it was not in schools, talking about?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
You said you wished it was longer. You wanted him to have more.
There's a difference between praising and saying it is what it is. I was not supportive of that bill.
Why?
Because it doesn't go far enough. It's called breadcrumbs.
So you want it to go further. So you want that to encroach even more, which I agree with.
It's not encroaching. That is, number one, my children have nothing to do with what you want to teach them about sexually in school. That's not encroaching on anything. That is separating my child from sick individuals at a school. Once again, sexual education and history have nothing to do with each other.
But you guys were advocating the government shouldn't have control over schooling, but you're saying he didn't go far enough.
It's sexual education, Russo. What are you missing? The state shouldn't be involved in anything sexual.
They can teach you math. They can teach you how to do geometry. They can teach you
them history, teach them geometry, teach them math.
If he's listening to the parents and so forth, the people that actually don't want this to happen, then I think that's like not the government. I feel like that's more of the parents want that to not be the case.
Yes. And the government is then listening and making things happen. I think it's a slippery slope. The fact that you want more change to be, well, to you, sexuality is more important. To somebody that's black, that is a big believer in CRT, that's more important that they learn that because they don't understand whatever. Or somebody that thinks that Florida has a lot of Jewish people. That's their population there.
So are we
That
gonna
means a
write a
lot to
bunch
those
of
people,
bills
those
for
parents.
black
They don't-
people now? So
What's that?
I don't want to hear anybody complain when there's an all black bill that caters to black people. Don't complain about it.
all this. I mean, all that just
That's crazy to
doesn't
me.
make
The fact that there's a bunch of Jewish people
so-
there, so it's okay to pass that type of bill.
This is my stance on it, which is why my kids are
That's
homeschooled.
people wanting it.
The government is not going to teach my kids at all. It will come from me. I don't trust the government to teach my kids practically anything. Like, if you want to look at it, go look at Common Core. Look at how they're actually being educated today. Their math skills are horrible, absolutely asinine. And you start getting involved in that level. And I only recently learned this because I had my nephews here at my house and they were going to public school and my kids are homeschooled. And I'm comparing my kids' math skills versus my nephews. And I'm like, what are you learning? It's awful. They're like, just look it up. Go back and look at how the Chinese or China is teaching their kids math and compare it to how Americans are learning math.
I do you one better.
See their math is like this long. American math is like this long. It's ridiculously and super compact.
The kids that be coming from Africa or one of those areas, and they join our math classes. They end up going to advanced math classes because we are nothing beings to them.
So
Correct.
I think
doing
Common Core is
metrics.
ridiculous.
They're doing metrics at like third grade.
But that came from the government, Russo.
But I'm going to tell you something. There is a school of thought and there's a fight for it. And again, that could be based on the teachers, or that could be based on the parents. That could be based on the area, based on the region. Common Core. The concept behind it is not to come to a solution fastest. The concept is to change the way the child's brain thinks. I think that's bullshit. I don't agree. But that is the argument for it. So if there's parents in an area and there's legislators in an area that are on this, we love Common Core, they're going to control it to their liking in that area.
Right. So let me ask you this. If a government wants to change a mentality of people, where do you start?
School.
Yeah.
So why would you trust the government to do that?
Then we go right back to the same question. Then who does it?
Parents.
Parents need to be engaged, and parents need to have school choice.
Right. Do you know what I do every year? You want to do it every year? Every year of Black History Month, because I know my children are going to be taught some maimed history about Black people. We sit and watch Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Fred Hampton. I show them people that were actually fighting. I show them Booker T. Washington. It's my job to teach them these things, especially when I know the school is going to do ridiculous shit like tell all Black kids they're slaves and they came from Africa. That's my job.
So do we get rid of history? Do we get rid of history?
No, we have we talk about what
history
actually
as like
happened.
History. Just talk about history without the color. Just talk about it.
Right.
As
the
like
history
the
that's taught in school is not accurate
because
history.
I feel like we just teach our kids the little details ourselves, especially
where does this magical curriculum come from?
Skin color important.
What do you mean? It's not magical. It's American history.
Who gets to figure out what is the text that makes
the
it
people
American?
who write the books? So maybe
the
more
winners,
people should be teaching their kids to get involved in education, or maybe more parents should get involved in these educational boards that write
writes
these books.
The books.
Not the state. Average people write those books, and then the state approves it or doesn't.
Thank you.
You're still missing the point that we can still get involved.
No.
There is still somebody. The state still has to make the choice on what is being taught based on the parents holding the state accountable. We are actually completely agreeing in this. I'm just saying it's impossible to remove government from the decision-making process on what is taught to American children. Plain and simple. It does. There's a business aspect to this that you're forgetting the main chain. I agree. Parents should make the decision 100%, but that involves multiple steps. It includes working, unfortunately, with legislature. So yes, school boards should be made up from parents in the areas. That's a great idea, 100%. So
and
then
it is. It's just lack of engagement.
You're right, Anthony Russo. That's why I'm running for House. I'm a parent.
There we go. We agree on a lot. We really do agree on these topics. It's just an issue of there has to be some kind of practical viewpoint of it that unfortunately you can't completely rid the government out of it.
Yes, you can. You bring your kids home, you do homeschooling, and you start working in that way.
That's agreed.
And you be honest with your kids about the bullshit they learn in school.
Correct.
I like your school choice idea. I'm really advocating for that.
And
School
homeschooling
choice
is not
should
an
be a
option
big
for
option.
everybody.
Yeah.
Homeschooling is not an option. And to make that a forced thing, and this is where I will say there is some careful, don't get me, systemic racism that because you're going to be looking at you're going to be looking I'm saying you're going to be looking at minority run areas that have generations of not going to college, not finishing high school. How are they going to teach how are they going to homeschool?
We're capable. We're capable, Russo. Black
Yeah.
people are very much so capable in the inner city and beyond in doing these things. We don't need the state to step in and do things. That's the reason we're in a fucked up position, because the state has taken over a parent's position and made people subservient and lazy. That is why the Black community looks the way it does.
To raise the children.
So you've got, and this is spiraling into a different conversation, but you've got socioeconomic deprived white people 100%. You've got socioeconomically deprived Black people as well at a higher percentage of their race. And I'm sorry if you tell me that you are trusting somebody a person, a parent. So this goes for white or Black. I won't even make it a race thing. This goes for you are making socioeconomic families destined to be even worse and less educated than they were, because you're taking people that maybe had high school at best, maybe 10th grade, 9th grade, and you're going to tell me they can homeschool their children miraculously?
We did it before.
Yes,
we did
and
it
I will
before.
tell you that right now. I was raised by my grandfather, and he didn't even graduate high school, and he had more knowledge than any
my
president,
grandpa completed 7th grade.
Yeah,
and my aunties are smart as shit.
My grandfather had more knowledge than any teacher that I attended high school with.
I believe that would be an exception that makes it a rule.
Down south, old school Negroes.
I couldn't do homework because my mom was in an all-women shelter. So I was kind of
what do you think they did when they couldn't go to school? How did Blacks progress so well? And we're set to outpace white people in an era where they couldn't go to school or get a state-run education. You know what happened? Communities came together and understood we have to educate our children. The reason we don't is because we have a crutch of the state. That's why we have done it before. To say that it's impossible when that's where
actually,
we came from.
That's actually what BLM stands for. A lot of it is the communities stepping in to do that. Well, not to defend BLM, but
it shouldn't be the community. It should be parents. That's.
But what if they're both? Somebody said the comment. What if they're both working? What if they're doing what they can to provide?
We have to create the culture to help them do that.
Me and my wife work a lot, and my kids go to school. I've been trying to get in contact with the school principal and everything else. He's been ducking and dodging me. But now I feel like he's going to be hitting me up pretty soon because I'm going to put that school on.
Sandy, what did your husband do? What did the father of the kids do? Did it make it so that you could? I mean, there's so many ins and outs there. It has to be a perfect situation. There's two parents that are not at home. How are they going to teach?
Be a perfect situation.
No, you're never going to have a perfect situation. Like Suni's saying, like when I asked what this is, when I went to my grandfather and I said, "Hey, what is this thing?" Like the name, he said, "There's a shelf of encyclopedias. Go figure it out." And so I would go grab an encyclopedia and I would read it. Like how difficult is that to understand? Like it's really not hard. We have libraries that are free to citizens. Why can't people do these things?
I'm going to be very clear. I'm not saying that people that didn't get an education are not intelligent. I'm saying there is a lot of people that didn't get an education that are there is 100% people that learned the hard knocks of life, that made themselves intelligent, and they learned a lot on their own, that had that have a different level of education that they can teach. I don't believe this is the norm. I don't believe it is.
Because and I think we have so far digressed.
Made people real dumb.
We have so far digressed that these conversations seem far-fetched and that'll never happen. Well, it'll never happen because I'm sorry, maybe you're too lazy, or too self-centered or too selfish to actually understand that you are your child's first line of defense. Make some sacrifices.
and
I did it. You know how bad I want to go work? But you know what? My kids are way more important than me going out to have a job. Sorry.
Suni, you're 100% on point. You know what the average car payment is in the United States? $600.
Doesn't
Jeez.
So why are you spending that kind of money on a car?
I get it.
Exactly.
I
We
get it.
live beyond our means.
I get it. My point is, what is the path of least resistance? And all of a sudden, miraculously making people able to homeschool their kids, or miraculously that engaged and willing, because the age group right now is they're shithead. I'm sorry, they're shitheads. So you've got like you're in a pipe dream thinking that this is the best least path of resistance. This is the best way to deal with it.
No, but I'm gonna promote it. I'm not gonna tell people it's impossible and attach outliers like miraculous to it to make it seem like, well, that'll never happen. That's discouraging.
If you have the passion and the motivation to homeschool your kids, I believe that you should 100% do that. But for some people that either don't have the mental capacity, don't have the ability,
people need the outlining of how they could homeschool their kids.
Exactly, but we don't have that because people frown on it.
It's
so
like,
much.
Well, I don't care, because it's like, nope, there might be
Okay,
out there. It's just it ain't presented well, you know.
I agree with you. It's not presented well. It's presented as a task, and it's sad that parents view their children as a task or a chore. I'm gonna ship you off to school.
Something that I'll look up on and try to prevent.
Here it is.
I have that.
This is already made and created. This is done by Oak Meadows.
I had no idea it even existed.
They create
that's my point.
Curriculums. This is kindergarten, is what it says right here. I don't know if I can get it in focus to where it's readable, but it says kindergarten. I have kindergarten and first grade right here on the floor, up against the wall, so we can teach our kids. There are curriculums that exist. Are they costly? A little bit, yes. It's $500 for a whole year. But in that scenario, you're able to teach your kids and remove them from the system and teach them what you want them to learn. There are capabilities of doing so.
Could we add that to school choice?
Yes, I would love school choice. That's an easy step to moving in this direction.
School choice and more affordable abilities to teach at home. Done. Moving on. Who's got this video?
I'm adding that to my platform.
Let's go ahead and play this real quick. We're gonna wrap up in the next 23 minutes. So somebody go ahead and throw up what I believe is the greatest marketing commercial of all time. I have a purpose behind it. Suni hates it, but whatever. Who has it ready to?
Too fucking long.
It's not too long.
No damn reason.
Who's got it? Who had it ready? I forgot. Somebody had it.
I can
Which one are you talking about? Jeremy Raisin?
The flamethrower. You had it, Casey.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, guys, I didn't catch that.
Jeez, welcome to Earth. So much for homeschooling your kids.
You know what? Shut it. Find it yourself. Find it yourself, then. Stop putting it on other white people.
Homeschoolers get so sensitive.
So this is a new commercial by the Daily Wire and somebody called Jeremy's Razors. So I want you guys to check it out.
Do you guys got audio?
Do you remember when there were two genders and only 1.5 of them had to shave their mustaches? Oh, hi. I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO and God King of the Daily Wire. Harry's Razors used to advertise on our shows. They're a great product, and we were happy to do it. That's before some peon who works for me went and said that boys are boys and girls are girls, and that was just too much for Harry's. They condemned our views held by millions of Americans and virtually every human who's walked the planet until about 15 minutes ago, as inexcusable. And they dropped their ads from our network because of what they called values misalignment. You're damn right our values are misaligned. And it's not just Harry's either. Gillette razors used to be the best a man could get. Then they decided that men are too toxic. Unless you're the kind of man who teaches his daughter to shave her beard. If that makes sense to you, keep buying Gillette. But if you've had enough of the woke bullshit and you're tired of paying companies like Harry's and Gillette to hate you, can buy my new razor instead. Behold, Jeremy's razors. Yes, they're real. Yes, they're fabulous. But Jeremy, you say, you're a stealth.
It should have ended right there.
Salt and pepper beard that's the envy of lesser men.
It's longer.
Exactly.
You're damn right. I am.
Oh, fuck.
There's still more points to it.
And I want to be clear that shaving with the Jeremy's razor won't actually make you look more like me.
You're giving me fierce. You're giving me power.
Could make you look more like this guy, though.
Nothing looked
That's the most
faker than
homoerotic
that.
you'll ever get from a Jeremy's razor commercial. What kind of man shaves with a Jeremy's razor? I don't know. How about cowboys, firefighters, those guys that shot Osama bin Laden? I mean, no, none of those guys have ever even heard of a Jeremy's razor, but imagine how much more manly they'd be if they had.
We're almost there. Don't worry.
Right now, you're probably wondering if this whole thing is a joke. Sure it is. That doesn't mean it isn't real, or that it won't be the best shave of your life. Harry's Razors doesn't want your business. I do. They seem to hate you, and I can't say that I love you, but I don't mean you any specific harm. Our country's in trouble. Conservatives are being canceled by Hollywood, the media, universities, and now Harry's Razors. Stop giving your money to woke corporations who don't think you deserve their product. Give it to me instead.
Head over to IHateHarrys.com and pre-order
you
your
can
Founder
stop it.
Series razor.
So
Wow.
Yo, I love the comments.
Wait, did the flag say shut up? Did it say shut up, shave?
shut up and shave.
Shut up and
Oh,
shave.
shut up and shave.
So it's not $60 a month. So I'm an early adopter. So I get my first set in, I think, July. It is $60 for the startup set, which includes the bag, the balm, the shave, the razors, and the unit. You get your razors every month. Well, you can either do it every 4 months, 2 months, or 1 month. And I think it's like $12 plus shipping or something like that. So it is a little bit more pricey, but that's my point. I don't care because this is speaking to me as somebody that has been canceled. And I say, F you. This is that whole concept of how do we actually start making change in the marketplace is to find the buyers that are willing to be bold. That's why I think it's important.
You shave?
I agree. That I love the commercial. I agree with Suni that it should have ended, where she mentioned it should have ended because it kind of went a little long for a commercial and like it lost its energy, but it made some great points, which that I do love. So
well, they'll break it up. That's their initial launch video. There's a difference between a commercial and a launch video. So I should say the best launch video of all the marketing campaign, that will be a bunch of small snippets.
Did you
That's
say
just
of
their
all
way
time? You sound like Trump now.
Why?
Come on, of all time. That's a bit of a reach. Of
Well,
all
okay,
time.
I was speaking in hyperbole. I think it does come in at a very important time. That's to me, it's a blueprint. It is a blueprint to say, and it'll be a blueprint to see how well they do and how much market share Harry's and Gillette loses. I don't think Gillette will lose anything because of their in-store stuff. Harry's has Target. Gillette has everywhere.
Razors. They have
What's
great
that?
razors. I love the razors. We use them here too.
Gillette.
No, the Harry's.
See, I think Harry's are garbage compared to Gillette, and
I
use
love
Gillette.
them. I love them.
So, anyways, I just think
I'll
it's
keep
important because
getting
it shows that.
waxes.
Sorry, what'd you say, Suni?
So I'll stick to my wax.
Oh, Jesus.
Giggity.
You wax your entire legs?
Yes.
Oh, I only wax the bikini area, but sorry guys, girl talk
Giggity.
here. I only wax the bikini area. But
Jelani just said giggity.
Yeah, I'm gonna be that kind of politician, you guys.
Oh God. I don't know. Look, my husband watched it and he was like, whatever. You know, my mother-in-law was raving. Did you guys see the new commercial? And I watched it. I was like, bro, this shit is too long. I don't even know what he said at the beginning because he just lost my attention. I can't even tell you what he's fighting against. All I know is conservatives being canceled. It's like, duh, tell me something I don't know. Like,
But
That's just me, though.
We've complained about it forever. This guy said, "Cool, I'm going. You don't want to advertise on my network because our values don't align. Here's a space in the market. Here's a space that I can capitalize on because there is people."
When Daily Wire accepts people who don't necessarily care about the Holocaust, then maybe I'll say that they're on board with freedom of speech and actually not censoring people. But
The thing that I find funny is like no one wants to talk about this topic, which is kind of funny.
What?
But he had a beard on his face, but he's talking about razors.
He talked about how he never. No, he talked about how he would never use one. How he talked about how it's not for him or whatever. It was. I mean, that was part of the thing. It was the joke.
I use electric, so.
Oh, if I use electric, I'm gonna be in trouble. If I need to actually shave, I need a full razor. I need a Brillo pad. I need a fucking weed whacker. It's bad.
I got like a skin thing. It ends up making me like do things I can't. Like get these big, humongous boils on my face.
Because you're black. You get a waiver for that in the military.
There's
a whole waiver.
You're not allowed.
People can have full-blown beards in the military now.
There's a waiver?
But you have to be black.
Because
you can't get it if you're white.
It's some weird shit with our pores. Our pores get infected real easily. So if we use razors, it like
because we got sensitive skin.
They can't drain the stuff, so we have to wait for it to like puff up and then drain itself. And sometimes they get really big, so that's why black folks can't use razors. It's crazy. I didn't know. I asked my dad. He's like, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" I was like, "You're the worst because you're supposed to teach me that." Like parent, like I found out.
To recap the beginning of the episode, Alicia, yes, they're finishing their phase 2 trials and they're getting it ready to bring it to
whoever gets this damn shot for alopecia, you're dumb. Sorry. You're stupid.
You get shot for
that damn shot.
Hey, Suni, this
thing
is receiving more testing than the COVID shot, so calm down.
I don't buy it.
Can one of the black folk explain to my mom that it's still a little bit different? I know that
it's different because of the skin makeup. It just is. Like when black men shave with certain razors, depending on where they go, they get large boils and pimples that show up, and it makes their skin bad. So there's a waiver for them.
I have 4 underneath my arm. And they couldn't drain it or nothing. They were like, "Yeah, you have to wait for it to just
pop,
and
then it creates a nasty scar on you.
And then you have to hurry up and clean that shit, or else it would create even more." And I had a total, it was a total of 8.
I just want to say that shit is racist because I know a white person that has that shit, and they deserve a waiver too.
I think it's different. I mean, I know what my grandpa had. And that's what I think I've seen the difference, and I think we don't see it on black people because they know better. Like they know what happens to like it's bad. Like there's a couple times I've seen it, like when young black guys are just starting to try to shave, and it's just these like gigantic boils. It's different. But yeah. Oh well, hold on. Back in the Korean War is one of the things that stopped him from serving in the military. So maybe I need to double check my heritage. Maybe I have a 1/10.
We don't accept you. It's okay.
I'm gonna start identifying.
Man, the black.
I'm gonna start identifying as black.
Hell no.
Maybe if you start celebrating Kwanzaa, we can try to figure it out a little bit.
Shit.
Juneteenth, maybe.
Hold on, I gotta apply for a home loan before my credit goes down. Wait a second.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
I got good credit.
Wow.
Damn,
and there goes our video.
So I know my.
Hey, look. Hey, wait. Somebody's gonna clip this. I'm not defending you, Bruce.
Calm down, bro. I know my kids. I know my kids. They're just not here.
He said it. I'm not defending you, Russo. Remember?
All right, whatever.
No, I'll do a TikTok. Hey, remember when I spazzed on that lady? She pissed me off. She was trying to paint Russo as a racist. I was like, what the? Come on. This is the nicest guy on the panel.
Made a Black History post about Russo.
You did. Jelani did. Like this guy still talks about systemic racism, and I don't even agree with him. And you're telling me he's the racist, you dick. Anyway,
it's all right. Just don't pull an Alec Baldwin. We'll be okay.
She hasn't been back, man. Like I want her to come back. I want to debate her.
He took out more people than the people on January 6th, so he is doing work.
Did you hear that Alec Baldwin's wife is pregnant with twins? Apparently, killing people makes Alec horny.
She's pregnant with twins? I guess when you take one out, you got to bring back two. Like
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. But do you think they'll come out with a fake accent?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was good. All right, let's end the show. Let's end the show on Biden's gaffe. Grant, it's good to see you, by the way. See you making some normal, regular comments.
Biden always has gaffes. What did he say now?
Nothing. He was actually nice tonight.
Where he said we needed to get rid of Putin.
Yeah. Which is on its face not the worst thing in the world, except for the fact that when a president of one nation says that about another nation while they're in a nation that's part of the war-torn part of the country, that's a declaration of war. The whole White House stepped it back. The leftist media, I love one of the interviews I heard on CNN. This woman was legit, actually CNN, and then she made an appearance on Fox, and she's like, let's not let these 8 words take away from what was a phenomenal speech. I'm like,
no way.
These 8 words declared war, kind of, and you have your White House stepping it back, and then Biden doubled down, and he said, I very much think that he should be out of power. But later on in that speech, he goes, but I know that's not going to happen. That's not what I was saying. I was giving my personal opinion. It's like, bitch, your personal opinion.
Can I say the conservative response? Can I say?
Go ahead.
If Trump were to say that, then they would have a problem.
Hello, there are good people on both sides. Hey. Remember when he said that?
No.
Well, there are.
Yeah,
there
guys,
are some good KKK members and some bad ones. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly.
That's Russian collusion, guys, is what you're talking about right now.
I'm kidding.
God.
Good one, Suni. Good one.
If Trump were to do that, hey, look, if a white man were to go on the stage and slap Chris Rock, he'd be racist. I was like, where are you guys pulling this from? What? Trump didn't say it, though. Biden did, and the fact that he did is crazy. Of course, the media and everyone else is going to cover for him because they're DNC shills.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I want to address
Biden's turning out to be a real Trump.
Everyone needs to get answers. So fun fact about the answer. I actually like them. There's 2 schools. There's multiple schools of thought. I know people that won't get it because they're probably tracking our DNA. I got it done, and it's probably not the best idea in the world. I'm not a huge fan now that I've gotten it done.
Where it goes, Russo?
What's that?
You know where it goes?
Star Wars, Clone Wars.
Into something where people can use it against me. I don't like it. It was a bad idea.
China.
Somebody's
gonna frame you for murder.
Right? Oh, it's a terrible idea. But here's the reason why I was really curious. But now I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible idea. It's not even that accurate. They can find your relatives. I'm going to tell you the first time I got my results back. First off, I was disappointed because it was everything I thought my whole life. I was 49% Italian, 51% Jewish. So I was like, oh, I'm half Italian, half Jewish. I was expecting some kind of fun thing in there. I got nothing. Do you want to know why I also think they're not accurate? All of a sudden, 8 months later, I get an update saying, Anthony, we have adjusted your results. You're actually 23% Italian, 76% Jewish, and like 1% Baltic region. I was like, well, that's a big shift. That means that somebody in my Italian side is Jewish. So I'm learning these things, right? Cool. Then I find out there's a story about a guy that was Irish, and he found out that he was actually Scottish based on his results, and he was shocked. So he traveled to Scotland. He learned all about Scottish roots, all these different things. He then got an update that told him, in fact, he was, in fact, Irish. So he wasted all that money on bullshit because it wasn't accurate. Come to find out 6 months later.
First of all, he learned a new culture, jerk.
Yeah, good for him. To end the story, I get my results back another 6 months later saying, we've shifted. I'm back to being 50-50. So this is the biggest fucking scheme on the planet. It's bullshit.
Yeah, don't do it.
Your race is gender fluid. Oh wait,
Now,
racial.
now we understand why Russo's so confused.
Hey,
Why-
I'm not African, you know. I did mine, and
You're
I have no
American, right?
ties to Africa.
What? So you did
Yeah,
your,
my folks are indigenous to the Alabama and Mississippi region. They're all
good.
Native Americans. You know, Native
Interesting.
Americans didn't always look like they look now. I
No.
think they have definitely shifted the classes we all fall in, because back when you look at the census that my grandparents took, they're all referred to as mulatto or native. It wasn't until like the early 1900s where they had black or Negro written. Interesting.
It's all right. In 15 years, everybody's just going to be beige, and it doesn't matter.
Beige.
So
That's what's going to happen.
So this DNA database, and I'm going to end this on the rabbit hole. Do people realize that out of the PCR tests that people were given, that they found out 10% of them were kept
Facts.
for what is the new version of the Human Genome Project, and nobody seems to care?
I care.
Stop getting tested.
I care. I never have done it, even though I want to, but I'm not going to.
I want to so bad, just so I could tell people to give me my reparations and shut up.
You ain't.
But-
Hey, Jelani wants his 40 acres and a mule.
No, I want you
He
to
wants
pay
40 acres and a mule.
I want
So,
Kelly and I talked about getting a ranch. If we got it, we want to find something right around 40 acres and just call the ranch and a mule.
Wow.
you will be labeled a
That'll
racist for the rest of your life.
Right.
Just have
And
a
I'm-
mule statue right in the front.
And I
what
might
happens
have to
this
hop
is-
on a train and be like, guys,
this
he
is
wasn't
why-
like this when I was friends with him, but damn.
This is what happens when you have too many black friends that let shit slide.
We'll just call it R&R Ranch. People won't realize that it stands for Reparations Ranch. But
Wow.
If you need
God.
funding, let's
Why
figure
you
it out.
take
I'll
my
help you.
ranch name?
Hey, he just said that he's going to buy a plantation. You know, Biden said that these Republicans want to put us back in chains. I'm going to have to get on out of here.
the house will be in the back. It's gonna like the movie Get. It's gonna be legit.
The Democrats already put black people in chains. It's
It's
called
gonna be like the
rappers.
movie Get Out.
And here soon he
We're
is
gonna be
rocking
like-
a bandana tied like Tupac.
Dang, you know what she doesn't get out when she gets a teacup?
Oh,
She starts
Oh,
sliding the
Jesus.
spoon on top.
No.
Wakanda
Does anybody
forever.
know the update on Matt Getz? Because of course that was the weird random story
No.
change that Graham Bull talked about.
No,
But
whatever happened to that lawsuit about
It
some
looks
sex
like
crimes?
it's still it looks like it's still ongoing, I believe.
Well, if there's no new information, then I think we're being fair by not talking about it, because we say the same thing about anyone else. Well, is there actual proof? Because if there's not, I don't think anybody should be speaking on it, Democrat or Republican. It's damaging to someone's career to say that they're a sexual predator. That's crazy.
The
no,
quick
it's-
thing that comes up is Hunter Biden's laptop is really.
He's a
starting to be
sexual
the most
predator. I'm comfortable saying that about him.
I'm wrong. Matt,
He's a
Matt
pedophile.
it looks as though it was dropped a while ago.
There was an update
Dun,
today.
dun,
You
dun.
can't say that.
And you know, Law and Order SVU did a episode on Matt Gaetz, and of course, they didn't say it was Matt Gaetz, but they pretty much
Right,
did
I
an
know how they
episode
do. I
on
know
him.
how they do. Yeah,
You should watch it. It's actually very funny. I laughed through parts of it, which is probably kind of sick, but it was hilarious.
Yeah,
no,
Benny
it's still
Johnson
ongoing.
posted about it today that Matt Gaetz officially enters Hunter Biden's laptop from hell.
Oh, you want to
into
talk about the
congressional
Trump
records.
rally? Okay, quickly, and then I gotta go. I'm gonna do an after show.
All right,
True to Such
go
a
ahead.
Video
I
on
don't know anything
Instagram.
about the Trump rally. Go
So
for it.
look, very cringy influencers decided to make a martyr out of Trump for saying swear words. Russo, you know how people get so angry and uptight when we say fuck
Yeah.
or shit or damn or motherfuck? Well, Trump
Sorry,
decided
Nancy.
to drop the F bomb. And
Nancy's
everyone's like, Trump said the F bomb like a savage. And I'm like,
hey,
I thought it was degenerate to talk like that. Now you
I
guys
never-
like the F word?
I love the F word all the time. Okay,
Fuck.
so I was all for Trump saying that.
Ah! Yeah,
And-
and that's the gist of it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch Trump. I think he's rather boring because all he does is talk about the same shit. So that's all I got from that Trump rally.
I thought Trump always cusses.
Yeah,
I don't
not
know,
the
man.
F bomb as much, but he's been doing it a little bit lately. Apparently, he realized it helps him in the polls. I don't know. Final words. Let's see. Suni, where can everybody find you after the show? I know you're going to be doing some more shows tonight, probably.
If you look at my name on the screen, Suni_the_middle_child, you can watch me on Instagram. I'll be bringing some IG buddies on, and we'll be discussing 1 or 2 topics that we spoke on here. I'm definitely going to bring up the First Amendment being violated, because I think that's an interesting topic.
Got it. All right, Mo, where can everybody find you?
Same name at the bottom. letstalkdarling.com on YouTube. Sorry, .com. .com is my website. YouTube is Let's Talk Darling, and Instagram as well. And I'm always on live with Suni. Well, lately.
Jelani, what's cracking, buddy?
All of my pages have my name, Jelani Givens. I updated all of them. My campaign websites will be up in a haste. And, I'll be on TikTok pretty much getting drunk with my peoples all the time. So if you want to get drunk with the future politician on TikTok, you know what I'm saying? Just, I can't get drunk no more. But
drunk.
Well, I can, but not like that.
I'm trying to not getting elected, Jelani. You better clean up your act. Listen, you are too unpolished for these white Republicans, Hey, look, I found out they view me as ghetto. Swear to God. I found out they view me as ghetto, which is why they don't have me on a lot of their things. Swear to
I'm
God.
endorsed.
I'm too ghetto.
Nancy's in the house.
I'm endorsed.
Hey,
I'm
Nancy.
endorsed.
Bryson too. Too ghetto.
They already know how I am.
Man,
Hey, they already know who I am. All right, they already know how I am.
That's affirmative action. They need you. You probably the one person in Washington State that's like, I'll step up.
I'm not the only black guy running. There's a guy running in the 28th.
I was gonna say you're not the only black guy running from the wall. There you go.
He posted on my Facebook page. Matter of fact, where's he at? Let me show you.
I gotta go. Y'all gonna get me canceled. Got this white man on here talking crazy.
Casey, final words. We're about done here. Go ahead, Casey. Final words.
I'm just looking for the next copy of G.I. Jane 2. If anybody can let me know where they find it, it'd be great. Have a great night.
Man. All right, last thing for you guys. So I'm putting this in the chat box. So I've been doing a weekly news show. Mo might actually get involved as well, but it's called OBBM Network News. The link is in there if you want to see our weekly news. It is local, but we also have national segments. It's been fun. It's like a real news show, and it's with OBBM Network. We're going to do a little bit more stuff with them. That's what I do every Wednesday morning. You guys, but we don't do it live. We do it live. We film it live. It'll be up a couple days later, but you'll be able to see last week's up there right now. So go check that out. Please subscribe to that. And yeah, if you guys can join the Great American Syndicate, great way to support what we got going on. It's our new kind of version of Patreon. Patreon isn't going away, but we'd love for you to start shifting over. If that's where you want to support us for $5, great. This is $14.99. And go to awakenotwokestore.com with Awake for 15% off. Send your prayers to Kevin. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the beginning of the show. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the truth will set you free. Take it easy, y'all. Forgot I can't use that damn clip anymore.
Yeah, that was an awkward pause.
Well, I was about to hit it, and I can't do it anymore because stupid YouTube. I hate them all. Anyway, good night.
Why can't you use it?
I'll tell you in a second.
White people. All these white